Golf brands need to stop doing this, especially Titleist and Ping. They've just brought out some new drivers and it has annoyed me. Let me explain why. Hi guys, I'm Shiels. If you're new to my YouTube channel, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe. And if you are already a subscriber, hit the bell icon so you always get notified. And if you enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like. These two brands have annoyed me, Titleist and Ping. They've just brought out new drivers. Titleist have just added to this family. They've now brought out a TS1 and a TS4. I'll explain what they are. And Ping have just brought out an LST version of their G410 lineup. And this has frustrated me because the Ping G410 has only been out 2 months. And now they're bringing out a low spin version. And Titleist TS lineup has been out 10 months. And now they're adding 2 new drivers to it. At the same price point, none of the prices have changed. But the brands are claiming that these clubs are going to suit different types of golfers. And this is what gets me into this conversation about these clubs. So let's start off with Titleist. These two drivers, TS2, TS3, came out 10 months ago. They've had great success, very, very good drivers. When I reviewed them, they're superb. But now, 10 months later, they've now added to this family. So now they've brought out a TS1 driver, which is going to sit here next to the TS2. And they brought out a TS4 driver, which is going to sit here next to the TS3. So now Titleist have got 4 drivers on the market. Some would say as bad as TaylorMade have been in the past. 4 drivers, TS1, 2, 3, and 4. TS1 is designed for more forgiveness, easier to hit, easier to get up in the air, suited to slower swing speeds. Whereas TS4 is to help a golfer bring the spin down a little bit more, normally suited to faster swing speeds. And this is where they've added to the family. So I'm going to use a direct quote what they've said. With our 4 new TS models, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we know that any golfer who walks into a fitting can find a Titleist driver that will max out their speed and performance. Just think about that for a minute. Max out their speed and performance. That's what they're saying now. So what does that mean? Does it mean 10 months ago, when the Titleist hardcore fan went for a Titleist fitting for TS2, TS3, they weren't getting that? They weren't getting the max performance because they might have suited a TS1 or a TS4. If I was a Titleist super fan and I'd gone in for a fitting for a Titleist driver 10 months ago, first in line, and I got fitted for those 2, am I now thinking that one of these 2 might have suited me better? I think that's wrong. I think that's incorrect for Titleist to do because they should have been more transparent about this. They should have offered all of these services 10 months ago, or at least said they were on their way. So I'm going to use a friend of mine as an example. Really good player, plays off plus handicap. He has just been fitted for a TS3. Now with the TS4 coming out, does he think this is a new version of the TS3? That's one message straight away that confuses the golfer, confuses you guys watching because you think now it's a new version. But as a good player, he might have quite easily been fitted for a TS4 and maxed out his performance better. It's a hard pill to swallow. If you spent a lot of money, £450 on this driver, knowing that now there's a new driver that might have maxed out more. That's where I don't agree with this idea of extending the family. Not saying that TS1, TS4 are going to be bad drivers, because I'm sure they'll fit in great, but how does it match up to the consumer? How does it make you, the golfer, play better by adding to the family later? And also, it confuses people because the TS2, TS3 normally would work on a 2-year lifespan. That's what we've seen from Titleist all the time. They bring out a driver, 2 years later, they'll bring out a new version. What happens now? If these got released last September and these guys are getting released in July, when are the new drivers coming out? Does that mean these drivers don't last as long in the lineup? Time will tell, but I just think it leaves a big doubt in the minds of golfers, and I don't think that's correct, and I don't think it's the right thing to do. Likewise with Ping. Ping have done something similar. Some would say almost slightly worse, because with Ping have brought out a G410 driver. Last year, they had issues when they brought out a G400 and a G400 Max, and it didn't go down particularly well. It was a good driver, but didn't go down well with the consumer. Bringing out an LST version now of the G410, again, isn't having that transparency with the golfer, for the guy who's getting fitted. Because if the Ping superfan goes down to Ping and gets fitted, and at that moment in time, the best driver for him is the G410, 2 months down the line, the G410 LST comes out. And I'll vouch for this. When I asked at the time when the G410 came out, will there be an LST? The answer was, nothing in the pipeline yet. There's nothing coming out. The story now backing up on that, Ping have now come out and said that basically the last year's LST could not be beaten until this new one, the G410 LST. And again, I'm sure it's going to be a great driver. It's going to spin lower. It's going to give more options. But what happens to the golfer who spent their hard-earned cash on that G410 driver? This for me is where it needs to stop. This for me is where companies need to be more honest with golfers. They need to stand there at the start of the year and go, guys, we're going to bring out 4 drivers this year. Can't believe Titleist are bringing out 4 drivers. For the amount of times that Titleist fans used to give TaylorMade hard for bringing out loads of drivers, and I'll come back to that point in a minute. If at the start of the year they would have said, right, we're bringing out 4 drivers, 2 now, which you can buy, or 2 later down in the line, which are going to be more forgiving and lower spin, gives the golfer, the consumer, more options. Gives you guys at least the insight to go, okay, well, I'll wait. I know that I'm a low spin golfer and I want a bit more help. I'm gonna wait for TS1, or actually I need more low spin, I'll wait for TS4. It gives the golfer more options. It gives you guys more options to improve your game, to get a driver that is gonna be more suited to you. And this, I could come up with loads of different analogies, but it's the fact that if you'd bought a piece of clothing and it was in the wrong size for you, but that was the only thing that was available at the time, they didn't make any other options, 3, 6, 10 months down the line, they brought out the exact same garment, but in different sizes that would fit you better, you are then annoyed because now you're in a product that doesn't work for you, and you could have waited and got a product that did. TaylorMade, when they used to bring out loads of drivers, and granted they have done, TaylorMade and Callaway are the worst for it, bringing out so many drivers. A lot of the time, they would bring out their flagship models. They would bring out their all singing, all dancing models and price them high. 6 months later, they bring out a different version, which may be a slightly more takedown version, less adjustability, a less of a price point, whatever that may be. And that way, at least the golfer would know, well, you know what, at least I've got the best product. This stuff is kind of just for a different alternative, a less adjustable version, potentially. What Titleist and Ping are doing, in my opinion, is wrong, and I don't think they should be doing it. They should be transparent with you, the golfers. I'd love to know your thoughts down below. So why do the brands do this? Well, let's be honest, for sales. They want to do this for sales because Titleist have been done really well with these 2 drivers this last 10 months. TS2, TS3 are smashing it. Tour wins, loads of validation, the great drivers. Well, as soon as that kind of starts to slow down on sales, to add a few more clubs to the family to boost those sales might be the easiest option. But again, is it the right thing to do? I'm not sure. Similar to Ping, they know that the G410 is doing well. Adding to the LST, for these guys, it's probably just a little bit of an add-on. They knew that that model was going to come, but it'd be just simpler at the start when they brought out the G410, saying that a G410 LST was going to come. Comes down to business at the end of the day, but as golfers, we shouldn't be bothered about that. As golfers, we need to be knowing that we have got the clubs in our bag that's going to enhance and improve our performance the best. Regardless of sales, regardless of what businesses want to have, they're saying it. As golfers, we need to be able to have the correct decisions when we go for fittings and when we buy equipment, because it's expensive and we don't want to get fooled or incentivized to be put into the wrong equipment because the equipment that suited you better wasn't yet available. So who wins and who loses in this situation? I'll use Titleist for example. The guy that wins is the guy that comes for a fitting now because he's getting 4 options, and any one of those 4 options may suit their game and may, like Titleist say, max out their speed and performance. But who loses? Well, for me, it's the guy who's bought these 2 drivers, who have gone out and spent £450 on a Titleist TS2 or a TS3. They lose. Also, the pro loses, or the fitter that fitted that golfer, because the disgruntled golfer customer goes back to the pro or the fitter and goes, hold on, I might have been a TS1 or a TS4. So now the Pro is a little bit frustrated because he's got an unhappy customer. He then goes to the rep, and the rep goes, really sorry, we couldn't do a lot about it. We didn't know it was coming. They go through to their hierarchy, and until they get to the top of the chain at Titleist or Ping, whoever it may be, they're not too fussed because they're thinking of the dollar signs. It annoys, for me, more people than it satisfies. Apart from the golfers that go now for a full fitting from TS1 to TS4, they get a great service. For everyone else, it must be a huge frustration. Guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, I really would. I think it's a topic that I'm very passionate about. As someone who is honest with my reviews and someone who is honest with you guys, the golfers, I want to give you the most information. And as much as I've not reviewed the TS1, TS4 yet, or LS Tech, I know they're going to be good. There's no question about that. It's not questioning the performance of these products. It's questioning the moral grounds of these companies bringing out products later than what they should do just to make some more dough. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe. And if you are subscribed, hit the bell. Lots of drivers to test. Just hopefully you get one that's going to suit your game more than anything else. Thanks for watching. See you next time.